They said the story was over before it started. A team patched together by necessity, limping through setbacks, walking into the loudest gym in the league. That's not supposed to end well. Yet every time the door slammed, they wedged a shoulder in and pushed it back open. Possession by possession, stop by stop, shot by shot. This isn't a fairy tale, it's a stress test. The kind where you learn who cracks and who gets sharper under pressure. And the longer this series stretched, the more it felt like something bigger than a scoreboard. No excuses, no safety net, just willpower, game plans, and the kind of grit you can't fake. But that wasn't the whole story. The regular season hands out labels: contender, pretender, dark horse. Then the postseason arrives and tears those labels off. You either hold up when the air gets thin or you don't. This group didn't blink. Rotations changed. Responsibilities shifted. The margin for error shrank to a sliver. They stayed connected anyway, defense first, paint touches, extra passes, and a quiet belief that they could outlast the noise. What people missed was the compounding effect of small things. A box out that steals a tip-in. A dig down that turns a star's touch into a turnover. A sprint ahead that becomes a layup and a momentum swing. Those moments stack. They tilt the floor. And when a team lives on that edge long enough, the perception changes. Suddenly, they aren't a feel-good story. They're a problem the favorite has to solve. Every series looks neat on paper. Then the edges fray. Whistles become headlines. Post-game quotes go viral. One sideline decision morphs into a flashpoint. The discourse takes on a life of its own. That's where the audience matters. Because the more you watch, comment, and share, the more the algorithms surface the real story. The matchups, the mind games, the momentum swings that casual viewers miss. Quick favor while we're rolling. If you're learning something here, hit subscribe, like, and drop a comment with the one moment that flipped the series for you. We're still a small channel, so every tap actually moves the needle. YouTube reads your watch time, retention curve, and engagement to recommend us to new viewers. It's brutally simple. Subs and comments equals more reach equals better breakdowns we can make for you. Take 2 seconds now, and you'll feel the difference in the next episode. And what comes next will be worth it. Playoff basketball lives in the paint. Bodies collide, angles vanish. Hands fight for leverage in spaces the size of phone booths. That's where reputations are made, and where narratives start. One night the contact feels, let 'em play. The next night, it feels like a free throw drill. Fans track numbers. Players track bruises. The truth lands somewhere in the middle and keeps everyone arguing. Then a post-game comment drops, and it's lighter fluid on the timeline. Talk of special whistles. Side-eye at foul counts. Clips flying around with slow-motion circles and freeze frames. But look closely. The teams that win these rock fights earn their whistles by living downhill. Deep seals. 2 feet in the lane. Strong gathers through arms and shoulders. You don't get rewarded for settling. You get rewarded for pressure. And when one side finally leans into that pressure, the whistle often follows. Every series has a single moment the building never forgets. A timeout that wasn't there. A technical nobody saw coming. A decision that snaps the energy in half and pours it into the other jersey. Coaches are human. The tempo spikes, the scoreboard stares back, and a hand goes up out of muscle memory. Then the horn, the signal, the penalty. In an instant, the crowd wakes up like it just got plugged into a generator. Did it decide the series? Number. Did it change the temperature of the game? Absolutely. Players feel that shockwave. Shoulders square, feet get lighter. Defensive stunts come a step earlier. The next rebound feels heavier for the other side. The lesson is ruthless. Details are destiny in late-round basketball. And when the margins are razor-thin, one miscalculation becomes a drumbeat the rest of the night. At the core of this run is a triangle that travels. First, the anchor. A big who owns the lane without theatrics. Screens that bruise. Hands that stay vertical. Touches that punish switches. She doesn't chase blocks, she erases angles. That steadiness is the reason opponents start settling. The paint becomes expensive real estate. The mid-range looks friendly, and the game tilts toward her rhythm. Then the closer, a guard who bends coverage with pace, changes in footwork, not wild hero shots. She reads the weak foot, she snakes the screen, She hits the elbow pull-up or sprays a pass to the corner one beat earlier than expected. Clutch isn't just shot making, it's decision speed when everyone else is tight. And there's the disruptor, the wing who does the work nobody tweets about. Chasing shooters off lines, digging down without fouling, tipping passes that turn into runouts. You don't carve out minutes in these games unless coaches trust you to win the margins. She did, and the numbers quietly backed it up. Game 5s don't ask nicely. They test your lungs, your legs, your convictions. The first quarter is about nerves. The second is about counters. The third is about who survives the run that should have ended them. By the fourth, it's all memory. Habits built in empty gyms during film sessions and in those quiet weeks when nobody was watching. Over time, if you reach it, feels like a hallway with no windows. One side found a tiny pocket of space and made the bigger plays. That's the truth. Shot making at the edges of the shot clock. A late switch that never happened. A second chance board that became a dagger. The other side stumbled, regrouped, and still took it to the horn. It stings. It should. Pain means you were close enough to touch the thing everyone said you'd never get near. And it leaves a specific kind of hunger that never goes away. Great series don't exist without a foil. On the far bench, a superstar kept rewriting the postseason in real time. 30 balls stacking up, records tumbling like dominoes, game winners that thread needles at full speed. She didn't just score, she controlled the pace like a metronome. Every touch forced a reaction. Every reaction created a crack. And through those cracks, the champs slipped the knife. That's the bar now. You don't beat that by praying for luck. You beat it by dragging her to second efforts, forcing tough twos, starving weak side cuts, and living with the makes you can test. You beat it by turning her teammates into stationary watchers. You beat it by making the night feel long. This series showed exactly how close that blueprint is to working, and how relentless you have to be to finish the job. Losing late teaches things winning early never will. It reveals substitution patterns that buckle. It exposes sets that looked pretty in practice but die under bright lights. It tells you which players shrink from contact and which ones sprint into it. Film turns those truths into fixes. Strength staff turns them into legs. Coaching turns them into language the whole roster can speak under stress. The identity formed here is portable. Defense first. Paint pressure. Role clarity. A bench that knows its minutes are earned on the glass and in traffic, not on the highlight reel. When you carry that forward, you stop chasing respect and start creating problems for every bracketologist in the room. And the next time a series drags into a deciding night, you won't be guests in that moment. You'll be landlords. The best part of a run like this isn't the applause. It's the proof. Proof the style holds up away from home. Proof the core can shoulder the toughest minutes. Proof that when the whistles get weird and the gym gets loud, the plan survives. That doesn't fade in the off-season. It compounds. It recruits other players to your cause. It tightens the huddle. And there's one more thing. Rivalries don't require trash talk. They require memory. Everyone remembers this one. The comments, the sideline spark, the nights when the paint belonged to the underdog. Next time these teams meet under pressure, none of that will be ancient history. It'll be oxygen. And we'll be right here to break it down with receipts. Strip it down and it's simple. The champs stayed champs because their star refused to bend. The challengers stopped being a story and started being a standard. That's how eras shift. Quietly at first, then all at once. When the rematch comes, it won't be hope that fills the locker room. It'll be expectation. And expectation is heavier. It also makes you stronger. If this deep dive helped you see the game in sharper focus, hit subscribe right now. We're still tiny. And your sub literally teaches the algorithm to show these breakdowns to more hoop heads. Like the video to boost it, and drop a comment with the one adjustment you'd make in a deciding game, matchup, scheme, rotation, get specific. I read everything, and your ideas shape the next film study. Until then, keep your stance low, your questions sharp, and your standards higher than the noise. We're not done, not even close.